Hey guys, it's me again. Hope you're all well. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I last posted, but that was because, as you guys can imagine, I've been really busy with my uni work, but this is what this video is all about. I'm just going to be going through kind of my first term at uni, how I'm finding it, just a really honest and open, candid chat with you guys, you know, just to update you on everything that's been going on. But wait, before we get started, you guys know the drill. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button to keep up to date with all my videos, to see me in your inbox regularly. Now let's just jump right in. Most of you probably already know, but just in case you don't, I go to the University of Warwick and I study economics. You can watch some of my other videos linked up here, basically showing you the journey that I had with choosing Warwick and everything like that. So feel free to check those out. But I have had my first 10 weeks at uni, and in a nutshell, I just want to say it has been absolutely amazing. I have loved university so far. It's been a really good experience in all aspects. But I do want to talk about one misconception first of all, and that is that A-levels are much harder than university. And I did believe this for a brief amount of time when I was at school. I was told that university is easier than A-levels, and I just want to say that is definitely not correct. Yes, for some courses that might be true. Yes, at some universities that might be true. For example, I've got friends doing economics at other universities, for example Leicester, and they have a very chill schedule. But I do go to Warwick, which is known for economics, and economics at Warwick is so difficult. And having had one full term doing economics, I can definitely agree with that statement. You guys know that I did take maths, further maths, physics and economics for my A-levels. Even still, right now, I would definitely say my workload is harder than the workload I had at school. And that is because I have roughly seven-ish modules that I have to study at the same time. So I have a micro, macro, history and world economic theory, maths, a personal development module, computing and data analysis, and a Spanish module. So I do study 7 modules, and studying one module is almost equivalent to studying an A-level. At least for me, that's how I felt in terms of workload and the amount of content you have to learn, right? So if you can imagine taking 4 A-levels and now taking almost like 7-ish, it's very easy to lose track and fall behind of your workload. And it's something that you just have to really stay on top of and stick with. Not just for economics, even with my friends who are doing engineering, my friends doing maths, the intensity in the workload and finding it very easy to fall behind of your work is probably a combination of things. First and foremost, it is the University of Warwick. It is a Russell Group university, so the workload is bound to be intense. It's what you sign up for. But also, it is economics. Warwick is the 3rd best in the UK for economics. The work is going to be intense. You're going to have to work for what you get out of it at the end of the day. But hold up, I wouldn't change that for the world. Firstly, because I do love my course, but secondly, I love Warwick. Like, I love it, it's great, and I will talk about that in a second. One thing I did not consider when I was applying for universities was whether it was campus-based or city-based. And I didn't consider the fact that Warwick was a campus, but I am reaping the benefits of the fact that it is a campus now. A lot of my friends, when they were applying, applied to Warwick because it's a campus uni, and I'm benefiting from this now because of Corona. It's so much harder to socialise if you're from a city university, because imagine your university or your lectures and stuff like that, they're held in set buildings in the middle of the city, and then your accommodation is far away. So one building might be there, another building might be like 1 or 2 miles away. That means that because of Corona, you don't know where to go to make friends. You don't know how to start off making friends. You know, it's difficult to socialise in that aspect. Whereas at Warwick, one thing I found was it's so easy to just socialise and make friends and get to know more people because we're all on a campus. Accommodations are right next to each other. So I live in an accommodation which is right next to other accommodations, and then which is right next to another type of accommodation. So everything is so close by because I live on central campus. So it's so easy to just socialise in that aspect. But also, during my Freshers Week, which I did talk about in my last video, I will link it up there, I did talk about how during Freshers Week, everybody, well, first years, they all came to Central Campus, which is the Piazza, which is kind of where all the main things are. So you have the Terrace Bar, you have the Student Union, you have Pret and Manger. Everyone just came there, and you had so many people during Freshers Week in Central Campus just socialising. I've met so many down-to-earth, humble people. You have people from so many different walks of life who had so many different life experiences. I love the fact that you can just talk to anyone so easily and naturally, and it's so easy to get on with people. But also the collaborative nature. I got so much help from second years and third years even before I started uni. And now I had so much help from second years and third years who do economics, who helped me with applications, which I will talk about later. Stay tuned for that. But just in general, people at Warwick are always so willing to help. Even when it comes to my friends, my course mates, essentially. My course mates have helped me and I help them so much when it comes to like little assignments or quizzes or just learning the content or going over things you don't understand. So economics is very heavily maths based as well. So some of my flatmates who study maths, I have 3 flatmates who study maths right now, and when I don't understand something, they go out of their way to help me understand that. Right? It's such a collaborative nature, and that's something that I love. And also another thing, when it came to staying on top of my work, that was difficult only like the first few weeks because I was trying to find my feet. But once I got into a routine, it was a lot easier. So one of my flatmates and I, we studied together, and we have this routine that we might spend a few hours in the morning going hardcore on our revision and education. Then we might take a nap or have a little break, and then we'll go back going on our revision, and then in the evening that's when we chill. So we have this routine now in place. Now that we have that routine, the course is a lot easier to get on with. The next thing I wanted to talk about was living alone. So this is the first time I am living alone away from my parents. You guys might know this or might not, but I am an only child, so I've always been very close to my parents. Being thrown into the deep end of living alone, it was very hard in terms of the emotional attachment, so you miss your family a lot. But because my course is so demanding and I'm always so busy, it's easy to stay busy and keep busy for the duration that you're there. I really enjoyed the aspect of budgeting when it comes to living alone. I enjoy being savvy with my money, being thrifty with my money. How much have I spent this week? What does that mean my total is for the rest of the month? Will my money last me for XYZ amount? I enjoy that aspect of being a student, and I enjoy that aspect of living alone, which is something that you don't have when you live with your family. You know, if you just go with your parents and they buy you the food and they buy you what you need, whereas when you're at uni, you're very self-sufficient and self-dependent. It is difficult, of course, having to budget your money, and you know, you don't have the luxuries that you might usually have when you're at home, but it's all character building, it's all life lessons. Another thing I forgot to mention that I do during my university is I still do my online tuition. So you guys know that in July, during lockdown, I started my one-to-one online tuition business for GCSE and A-level subjects. If you guys are interested, check the link in my description down below. There's a link to my website giving all the details of everything I have to offer. DM me if you would be interested, or send me an email. If you guys are interested, let me know. Right now is the Christmas holidays, so if you guys want to get ahead of your classmates, get ahead of school and go over some content that you might just struggle with in general, now is the perfect time. Get in touch with me and we can arrange that. So I briefly touched on the fact that I had applications before, so I'm just going to go into a little bit more detail about spring weeks. So if you haven't heard about this, that's completely fine. I only found out about spring weeks literally during lockdown a few months before I was starting uni. What it basically is a week in spring, like the name would suggest, or it can range from 1 day to 2 weeks depending on the firm, where first year students or second year students on a 4-year course can have work experience at some of the top investment banks. As you guys know, I do want to do investment banking in the future. As a career, that's what I really want to do, and it is something that is very difficult because of how competitive the industry is. It's hard to get your foot in the door, but spring weeks is a good way to get your foot in the door. As you can imagine, naturally spring weeks are super competitive. So I've been preparing for this since probably during lockdown, because I had help from a second year at Warwick and she massively helped me. You can imagine that I'm trying to find my feet with my course and moving into university on one hand, and then pulling me in the other direction is my spring week applications and going through that, because that in itself is a very intense process. And I am still in the middle of a lot of my applications, and I'm in the middle of that process right now, but I will be making either a video or a series on my spring week journey very soon, once I finish this whole application process and I've heard back from the firms and stuff like that. Let me know if you guys would be interested in that. Leave me a comment in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys think. You get a lot of support and help from your finance societies if you're part of the Warwick Finance Society, the Women in Finance Society, Consulting Society, so many societies. And if you just know people in second and third year, even if you don't, they will reach out to you, they will go out of their way to help you. And that's one thing that I loved. So I've got so much help when it came to my spring week applications, not only from my seniors, but also from my peers. So I have some friends who also want to do spring week. Some of the times my friends might glance over my CV or glance over my application to see if that's an okay application, if they think it's good to go. Even though you're technically in competition, it's not that mindset that everybody's in it for themselves and that rat race sort of mentality. I do want to touch upon one fact though, that coronavirus has impacted us slightly. I say slightly. The effect of coronavirus on my university experience. Let's go through that now actually. In terms of lectures, everything is online for me. So my lectures are completely online. I do have seminars, tutorials, you can use either word interchangeably, which are in person. So seminars and tutorials are basically small classes with around 10 to 15 people maximum, and you have a teacher, so either a postgraduate student or a lecturer, and they basically go through that week's lecture material from the professors. They go through that with you. They might give you a problem set to work through, and then they teach you how to go through that. Of course, in lectures, you can't interact with your professor. You can't ask and say, hey miss, how do I do this? Hey miss, I don't get this, like you would in school. You just have to keep going, right? But with seminars and tutorials, you can ask for help. You can say, I don't get this, how do you do this? Of course, not to the level that you would in school, but you do have that support there. Uni is probably going to be easier when we don't have COVID, but if you can cope with it in COVID, you can cope with it normally anyway, so it's not a stress, it's not anything to worry about. I have had a really, really good experience overall. I can't say a single bad thing about my experience at all so far. I think if anything, given COVID, you have less help than normal because you can't just rock up to your professor's office and during office hours and say, hey, can you help me with this? Everything is done online. If you can imagine 500 people on your course emailing one professor, it's going to be difficult for them as well. That's the only thing I could probably say, but overall I've had a great experience at university so far. So yeah, that is it for today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a huge thumbs up and smash that subscribe button down below. Make sure you leave a comment down below to let me know what you guys want to see next, and I will get on that ASAP. But yeah, that is it for today, guys. I will see you next time. Bye!